would help. There we go. All right. Let's see if y'all can see me and hear me and everything like that. I got to turn the camera on. That was a good one. All right. There we go. Scuba Rob, 5x5, Pat Calhoun, Joe Cook, Adam Hoffman, Pennsylvania Mama Bear, Cat Lady, Healthy Disrespect. Okay, you guys can hear me. I got the microphone set up. It's up high, as you can see, so I won't cover it with my hands. And hopefully we don't have any issues. So happy Tuesday night, guys. Hope you all had a productive weekend. Hope the storms treated you all right that we had flow through over the weekend. We got a little bit of the rain, wasn't terrible, but it was nice. Mrs. P and I got out and finally got the cabbage in the ground. The beets will go in sometime this week and that'll be ready, but gotta transplant my tomatoes to bigger cells, cucumbers, peppers. Those will be potted up here probably this weekend. It's nice to look at my fruit trees. We actually have plums and cherries and peaches and pears starting. So we didn't have any freeze that killed off the blossoms. That was good. No apples yet. I'm optimistic that we get at least a couple of apples this year. It's our third year of having the trees in the ground, so I should at least get a few. We'll see what happens, but means it'll be time for me to get out here and spray the kale and clay on the trees to keep the bugs off. That'll be the big deal there. We had to wait for this rain to pass, and I'll get some diatomaceous earth on my cabbage to keep the slugs away. And then as it warms up a little bit more, get the neem oil out and spray the tops of them so I can keep the bugs away from the tops. All the fun stuff. Just yes, it's nice to be outside again. I personally hate winter. Uh, you're stuck in the house, and I don't like being stuck in the house. I like being outside doing something. I don't care if it's pulling weeds or mowing a lawn or doing something, but I just want to be busy, and the wintertime is tedious for me. Up to Christmas, hey, it's okay. You got something to be excited about, but man, January, February, March, I just need to figure out how to take a vacation. But that was it. So, other than that, happy tax day. Unless, of course, you live in Arkansas. You got notified today. The IRS said, I think it's November 2nd. You have now until you can file your taxes. Everybody in Arkansas, because of all the storms, got a mandatory or automatic, I guess, if you will, extension on filing and paying their taxes for 6 months thereabouts, because hell, the state pretty much was destroyed here with all these storms last week. But that's all of that. And then, of course, in case anybody noticed this, the potato sleepy lion Joe Biden made a speech today for about 45 minutes or so, chock full of lies and imagination. More of this crap. Oh, Trump's going to try to cancel Social Security. Of course, there's no truth to it. They keep trying to run this Project 2025 crap up the flagpole, and it doesn't go anywhere because there's no truth to it. But the lemmings, the sheep, will keep listening and go, You got to remember, Biden doesn't know what the hell he's saying. He's reading whatever's on the teleprompter in front of him. The guy hasn't been able to comprehend what he's been reading for a decade at least. So just that tells you how desperate the Democrat Party is when they're trotting Joe Biden out as the leader of the party. There you go. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see if the party even exists by 2028 because they're just eating their own at this point. Which is fine by me because, I laugh every time I hear one of these, the people are moving to Europe or leaving the country. I'm like, good. Can I chip in for plane tickets? Just give me your passport so you can never come back, and I'll be happy. But liberalism is the most deadly disease known to man. All right. So yes, there we go. Fun stuff, short and sweet there. Let's get into some Q&A. God knows what's going on garden wise or economic wise or who knows what. We'll have some interesting questions tonight. So, as per normal, if you got questions for me, please put them in all caps. It just makes it a lot easier for me to go through the chat room and see what's directed to me. Of course, you guys know I wholeheartedly encourage you guys to chat amongst yourselves. Just please do that in lowercase, keeps the live stream flowing a little better. Only rule, as everybody should know, is respect is key. Treat everybody else in here as you'd like to be respected, as you'd like to be treated yourself. Okay. If disagreement, difference of opinion is fine, I get it. A lot of the topics I talk about are controversial. Maybe somebody doesn't agree with my point of view. That's cool. Okay. But when you started out with "you're an asshole," you never get to say another word. Okay. We can have a respectable conversation. I mean, if somebody disagrees with me, I'm more than happy to listen to your argument. You let me give mine. You get rude about it? You know, objection, Your Honor. Please throw them out of court. And I'm the judge. So, just say. All right, let's get into this and see what's on y'all's mind. And I'm not seeing anything in caps. Nobody's got any questions. Somebody says happy birthday. It ain't my birthday. So whoever's birthday it is, happy birthday. I guess Catherine Smalley, would we go? Let's see that. Happy birthday, Catherine. Adam Hoffman, shouldn't Biden be in a nursing home? Biden probably be in a cemetery, but nursing home would be the next best step. I mean, I don't even know what the odds are on Polymarket to Joe celebrating another Christmas. So, but that'll be, you know, no great loss for the country when Joe's gone. I mean, he's milked off the country for nearly 60 years, never done anything to contribute anything to the country, and has made a career out of being a destructive force. So, sorry, I ain't gonna miss him. Here's a good question. Scuba Rob, Pinball, what's a hobby I used to participate in my younger years that you don't do anymore? Any of you guys that were kids, maybe even teenagers in the 70s, probably participated in this. Collecting beer cans. I actually was involved in that until my divorce, 2010. I had a good sized collection. I probably had about 2,000 different cans going all the way back to, I mean, a lot of stuff from the 60s and 70s, of course, which those had very little value, but that was when I was a kid. Those were fun stuff to collect, and it was when the hobby was crazy, you were Cuticle beer or something with the 75 Reds on it, or the Iron City cans with the Steelers on it, or, that sort of stuff here. And I also had cans that would go back to the 1930s to 1940s that you needed a church key to open, or those of you familiar, some of the old cone top cans. I had two of the six cans in the James Bond collection. That was kind of fun. I didn't know what some of that stuff was worth, but in my divorce, that was an asset that had to either get divided up or somehow sold. And so basically, that all got sold back then. And stuff that I had been collecting since I was a kid, wound up in the household assets. So that was that. But there's your question. Next, it says, have I heard an update about Rudy, Alaska Prepper? No, I honestly, guys, I haven't heard anything. Nobody has contacted me, told me what's going on. The only information I get is what you guys are telling me. I mean, if Rudy posts something, sure, I'm going to get notified that he's put a video up. But no, I have no more information than you guys do. And honestly, even if I did, it's not my place. It wouldn't be my place to share it. Okay. So I understand people asking the question. I get it. We're all worried about what's going on with him. But that's up to him to tell us what he wants to tell us. Up to us to probe him for information, get him to talk about something that's probably very. Whoops. Bottom there. Let's see. Where it was again, hanging. Okay. Scott McHugh, pinball, missed the good old days of everyone getting along. Obama, Obama Dama Ding Dong. He said America back to the 60s. Yeah, maybe the 1860s is kind of where he said it back to. But yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing. I I agree with you that Obama sent race relations back to the country a couple of generations. The racism that we see here now across, I don't care if it's white on black, black on white, black on Asian, whatever it is. The racism we see in this country now is more than I've ever seen it in my life. I mean, I never, I mean, the way I was raised, okay, the N word was never used in our household. Uh, you know, and none of the other slang was used at all for anybody. Okay. And I wasn't raised that way. The areas that I grew up in weren't that way. Certainly, the military wasn't that way. Corporate America wasn't that way. And now we have the race as a determining factor on everything. You're starting to see these stores going back to, I don't want to say segregation, but I mean, I saw a story today on a restaurant that played classical music all day long. And when the owner was asked why they play classical music all day long, his answer was, "The blacks don't like it, and it keeps them out." And I'm like, "You got to be freaking kidding me!" You know, it's just, again, I go back to the content of your character versus the color of your skin. And I'm sorry, it will never change in me in my life. They can they can try to force feed this racist crap down my throat all day long. It's never going to work with me. But you're a scumbag. I don't care if you're black, white, what, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. You're a scumbag. I'll call you a scumbag right to your face. TK, how to get rid of green mold on trees. I'm guessing that's algae or moss on the tree and not mold. Uh, I mean, you could use some diluted bleach, but if they're just trees in your yard or something like that, let nature handle it. Basically, what it's from, if it's actually mold, is because there's so much moisture right now. Let the sun take care of it. Let it give you a week or so of dry times. It'll die. Uh, beetle bee mice infestation with pets. I have no idea what the context of what you're asking is, so that doesn't help. Uh, Pennsylvania mama bear, what spike thing do you use with your fruit trees? Well, yes, I use Job's plant spikes around my fruit trees. Usually put them in twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And you just drive them into the ground with a hammer, a little cap, so you don't break them up. And just around the drip line of the tree, and depending on how big your tree is, depends on how many spikes you put in. Uh, but yep, they do. I mean, I've got to say they do a good job, but it's not like I'm doing some double blind test where it's like, okay, this tree I planted at the same time, and this one I'm going to fertilize, and that one I'm not, and which one's growing better? I mean, I'm not doing that. I just put them in, plant some fertilizer. I mean, you fertilize your lawn, you fertilize your vegetables. Okay. I mean, again, you have to remember something about some of these things that we plant, whether they are fruit trees or vegetable plants, or you're not necessarily planting something that is native to your area. And so, in order for it to grow, it's going to need human interaction. You're going to have to supplement the plant with what the native soil is made. And as many of you guys know, I've told you about my native soil here is garbage, red clay and rocks. So obviously a tree is in there. So it's got to grow through that. There's not exactly all the nutrients that the tree needs in that red clay. So obviously supplemented if I want to. Debbie settles. Tennessee got the IRS extension until November. Also, I didn't see that. I paid my taxes last Thursday. Uh, that was fun. So, but yeah, nothing like writing that check. I always love doing that every year. Reed, what would be the best fertilizer for newly planted grapes? Grapes are a different because there really isn't a fertilizer for it. The reason I know this is because a couple of years ago, Mrs. P and I tried to plant white seedless grapes. We've got an arbor out in the backyard. Maybe you've seen it when I've been out in the yard. And we tried to plant white grapes and could not get them to grow at all. And I don't care how much I amended the soil, compost, everything like that. And they grow a little bit. You get one thin vine that would get up over the top of the arbor, and then it would just get attacked by Japanese beetles. So, and it obviously wasn't producing anything. Mr. and Mrs. Mountaintop Reps are growing grapes, and they got a beautiful arbor with these grapes on them. I'm a different, 1,000 feet higher than me, maybe different soil, who knows? But when we were growing these, I looked to see what fertilizer I could find for grapes. And I couldn't find anything that wasn't either extremely expensive or extremely difficult to get. So my solution was, all right, I'm going to go back to native plants. On that arbor, we now have scuppernongs growing. So I've got muscadines, scuppernongs, which are in the grape family. Linda Bop. Hello, Pinball. I'm sorry I've not been around lately. Don't have to apologize to me. My mother just passed away on April 1st. Sorry to hear that. Just trying to get back into a type of routine now. Yeah, you don't have to apologize to me. Trust me. I mean, you're never. What do you mean you're not here on my live stream? You've been watching me long enough. I think you guys know that. No. My condolences for losing your mom. Yeah, and that's always difficult and different. And take your time, do what you need to do to get you and the rest of the family right. Broke. Would you agree that this Carmelo character would not be able to disappear no matter how much money he has? He might try, but I'm sure you have some training on how difficult that is. Well, I mean, again, he's on house arrest. Okay, great. Will he show up to court? Better than 50-50 that he will. But my whole question on this one is, okay, if they raised $400,000, they're going to hire personal security. They bought a house in a gated community. Who's the lawyer getting paid? I mean, I'm hoping he did not get some public defender. The last thing I'd want is a public defender defending me on a murder one charge, or whatever the charge is, any sort of killing charge. But that's why I wonder if he doesn't skip the country, because they pissed away all the money already, which was stupid. And what's going to happen when he goes to court and is found guilty? And he's going, great, mom's got a new house and I'm spending the rest of my life in jail. I mean, the judge is a moron for letting him out. I mean, since when do you let somebody who's confessed to a murder out of the prison system, out of the jail system, and let them be on house arrest? How many stories do we hear about people cutting off their ankle monitors? It's not like the cops are sitting out in the front porch, making sure he doesn't go out the door. Oh, crap. Carmelo Anthony, we're not getting the signal from his monitor. All right, well, we'll be there in a half an hour. Cool. He's 20 miles away already, in God knows what direction. Tom, hello from Wisconsin. Do I have any tips on growing tomatoes from seed? Uh, Tomatoes are extremely easy to grow. I've got a whole playlist of gardening tips that you can go through. Growing them from seed, the first thing you're going to have is a good soil medium to start them in. Okay, don't go out and plant them in, get a scoop of the soil out of your backyard and plant it in that. That's not what you need. You need a good soil medium. I've showed you guys how to make that. It's real simple. Don't waste the money on the seed starting mix. You're paying 100 times what you can make it for free, or make it for yourself, for somebody else to mix 3 ingredients. Uh, but then the next thing is, and like I said on my tomatoes, you gotta keep them moist, you gotta keep them grow, and then you gotta keep them in the appropriate size pot. Okay, I mean, I started them in the little 2-inch square cells. The tomatoes are mostly about 3 inches high. The roots are starting to come out the bottom. Once I see the roots coming out the bottom, that tells me it's basically outgrowing that pot. I will now put them into the 4-inch cups, the 4-inch diameter round cups like this, uh, and transplant them in there. Remember, when you're dealing with tomatoes, how the stem has got all those hairs on it. Tomatoes are the one plant that the deeper you plant it, the better it is. You know how everything else, you want to just get the roots in and leave the plant right at soil level? Tomatoes, no. You can take the tomato plant, and if it's 3 inches high, plant 2.5 inches of it in the ground, because all those little hairs will make more roots, which will make your tomatoes that much stronger when it's eventually time to put them out in the ground. That way they can take up more water, they can take up more nutrients, which means they'll make more tomatoes. So, but yeah, I mean, what I would say more than anything else, Tom, is go onto the homepage, click on playlists, and look for the one that says gardening, and you can go through. There's a whole bunch of tips on making soil, seed starting, fertilizer, up potting, you name it. So go through there and see what works. North Whittington Circle Farm. Did we get the wind today? I lost 2 chicken buildings. Okay, we didn't get the wind that bad. But yeah, we probably had 20 some odd mile-an-hour winds this morning. It was shaking the trees around. Right now, looking outside, sun's just going down, so we'll see out there. But I don't see the trees moving, so nothing. Mrs. P's out with the dogs. I can hear them barking. But yeah, no, the wind's past us at this point. But this morning it was quite breezy. Nothing disrespect. If you were hardening off pepper plants that are around 6 inches tall with several sets of leaves, would you bring them in if it's dropping to the mid 40s at night? Yes. Peppers are, again, they're going to like warmer weather. Because we're getting down in the 40s here at night, and the only thing that I want, I mean, my onions are out, my garlic is out, my cabbage went in, my beets could handle this weather. But you've got anything like tomatoes or corn or peppers or eggplants, I mean, anything that's nightshade, of course, they can't handle this cold. I mean, if you got your corn out and it dips down to 31, your corn is toast. Okay, so there's, yeah, if you're getting down in the 40s, I would bring the peppers in. Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave my peppers out unless it was at least mid 50s. It's way early to be getting peppers in the ground. Again, I don't know where you are. You could be southern Alabama for all I know. And somebody in 93 in Arizona today. All right, if it's 93 degrees, yeah, you got peppers in the ground already. But for me, no, I'm not going to be putting peppers out until the soil temperature is consistently 60 at least. Cindy Steger, when and how do you treat your cabbage to keep the slugs off? Okay. Diatomaceous earth is about the best thing for it. Okay. If you're trying to do organic, or I hate using the term organic because that always makes you think of these skinny jean wearing soy boys and stuff like that. I'm not going to say I'm against chemicals, because I put 10-10-10 in my gardens, okay, which obviously is chemical fertilizer. But I'm not spraying with all these pesticides and stuff like that as much as I can. I try to stay away from the spray on the plants, because if they take up some from the fertilizer, that's one thing, but I don't want to be eating it. That's on the fruit itself. Okay. So I just qualify that one. But for the diatomaceous earth is very fine powder. Basically, what it is it's fossilized sea creatures of some sort that have been ground to a very fine powder. As we see it, it's actually edible. You can buy food grade diatomaceous earth that you can eat. So actually, what I'd suggest you use in the garden is food grade. I'm not going to be eating it, but I don't have to worry about slugs in my belly. But to us, it's a very fine powder. But to the insects, it's like razor blades. Okay, I mean it's still very sharp. So as they crawl across it, it carves them up like crazy. So they want to avoid it. The most important time to put it on is when you just put seedlings in the ground, which is now for me, and I don't have mine on yet because we had these rains. Because the other issue with it is you have to reapply it after every rain. But you just dust around the base of the plant, and it'll keep the snails and the slugs from getting up to the plant. The other thing you want to concern yourself with cabbage too is, you know how those very bottom leaves, those very first leaves, will hit the ground and then they start turning brown. You gotta cut those off. Okay, get in there with a pair of scissors or whatever, set those up, because that's the other thing you're doing. You're giving the bugs a highway to get into the rest of the plant. There's a dead leaf laying on the ground. They just crawl right up. Hey, cool! Look, I'm in the middle of the plant. Now let's go to one I can eat. So, just like you want to keep the low-hanging branches and tomatoes off the ground, so you don't pick up this. You want to keep those ones, the cabbage ones that are touching the ground, off the ground, so you're not picking up bugs. Mountain Man never had a collection except empty shell casings. It's not a bad collection to have either, especially if you know how to reload. Good deal there. Broke, thank you for the super chat. Says I've been effectively unemployed since October of 22 after losing an IT sales job. Finally decided to retool past CompTIA a Plus module and studying for module 2. As an IT recruiter, I hope you'd be proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. You have to pick something up differently. And you went from the IT sales side to now doing the hands-on, I'll use the term engineering side to it, whatever you're doing. The development, I don't know what you're doing with software, but whether you're doing engineering work or development work or QC work, QA work, whatever, good. I always like to see when people go, you know what, the world's not going to get me. This door closed. I'm going to go open another one. Congratulations on that. And there we go. Okay, let's see. Sunny Honey, like that name. Oops, and of course, as soon as I read it, it disappeared. I find you again. Hang on. Close here. June bugs are decimating my roses and other potted plants. Ideas to get rid of them. Go on Amazon and get yourself some traps, or you go to the hardware store or whatever it is. Basically, it's a little bag that there's a bait that sits in. You put it on a shepherd's hook or a tree branch or something like that, and it'll attract the bugs away from your roses. Like I said, in my case, they hit the fruit trees like crazy. But get a couple of those, depending on how much space you've got to cover. Just don't put them near your plants. You're trying to get them to be away from your roses. But you're not going to put them 300 feet away, that's not going to do any good. You follow the directions on there, but that's other than using something like Seven Dust. Again, we're getting into chemical. Uh, I'd say Seven Dust to get rid of the ones that are already on the plants, and then get the traps to get rid of, to keep other ones away. That would be it. Anarchy Acres Homestead or Farmstead. What is our Easter menu like? Oh, we will probably do ham and sweet potatoes. That's pretty much the traditional Easter meal. So that'll be, let's just pay and Mrs. Pay. So we'll make ham, and then like everybody else, it'll probably turn into pea soup or ham and noodle casserole or something like that with the leftovers. But nope, we'll make a ham on Sunday. Romy Davis says hello from deep South Texas. Hello from Eastern Tennessee. Let's see. Robert says the audio is fluctuating frequently. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, microphone's fine. It's right here. So if I don't use the microphone, I use the one through the computer. That's the only issue. I'm not going to say it, but you seem to be the only one that I'm hearing this from, Robert. So I'm wondering if it's on your end. Because I go back and listen to all these, and I mean, I watch every one of my videos, and the audio is always coming through fine. Now, of course, I can't watch me while I'm doing it live. I'm not sure, but nothing I can do. I mean, I've got the echo canceling off. It's picking up the audio as, even if I talk quieter, talk louder, it's moderating the audio. I can see right next to me here that it's picking up. I mean, I'm maxing out the monitor here, so it is what it is. Kathy Little, my garden raised bed soil is dust. I mean, dust. Is it salvageable? If it's dust, that means that you basically used all the nutrients. I mean, everything that's in it is gone. You can still use it as fill, but you're going to have to dump a boatload of compost in there, and then just maybe that dust, as you're saying, can be used as a little bit more, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, just filler to get you some more volume. But you're not, if it's dust, you're not growing anything in it. The only thing you can do at this point is I'd go get a truckload of compost. You can find mushroom compost or something, that'd be great. But you got to completely rebuild that soil. You basically did to it, not necessarily you, but what's happened to it is go back to what happened in Oklahoma in the 20s or Tennessee in the 30s, and all the nutrients, all the organic matter is being used, and you have nothing left but dust. So you got to fill it with organic matter. This kind of goes into what I say each fall when I'm dumping grass clippings and shredded leaves in my garden over and over and over. I mean, just loads of it, because then in the spring I can till all that stuff in, and it's started to compost, and it's putting that organic matter back in the garden. You got to remember, a vegetable garden is taking out, again, this goes back to what I was saying before, we're growing non-native stuff. It's not like the fork. You're putting more nutrients out of the soil than you're putting in. So you have to be replenishing those nutrients with somehow. And people are like, well, I'm putting fertilizer in. That's great, but the fertilizer's gone, and even your 10-10-10 or whatever, that's gone in 90 days. That's this season stuff only. And so you need to keep refilling your garden with organic material, grass clippings, kitchen scraps, leaves, preferably composted, but you get that in there. Unless you can get some pre-made garden or pre-made compost from somewhere, that raised bed is not usable this year. you're gonna have to spend the entire year growing your soil. You've got to build the soil before you can grow anything else in it. Ann Palmer, have I ever rooted fruit tree? Uh, okay, if you're, I'm not, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Rooting a fruit tree, like something broke, and like you're gonna try to propagate a tomato plant or whatever, and put the plant in water and see if it grows. That's not going to work. Tomato plant, well, green growth, you can do something with that. With the tree, you're not. I've never grafted a tree. That's usually how this is done. When you have something broke like that, people will try to graft it onto another tree. You can watch videos on that. You've got an apple tree or whatever it is that damaged your pear tree. You've got an apple tree, graft that branch onto your apple tree if you want, and now you'll have apples growing all over the place except that branch which will be growing pears. So where you see these cocktail trees or something, we're growing four different fruits on the same tree because it's been massively grafted. Uh, if you if you got that going on, that would be the best way to go. But if you're trying to get roots, trying to reroot a fruit tree branch, if I'm understanding you correctly, if you're having success, that would be the first I've ever heard of it. So I don't know, but I I'm not the arborist. My knowledge is more in the garden than the fruit trees. So, you know, go talk to an arborist about that. That would be the best thing to do. Not the guy who works in the garden center at Home Depot, but maybe somebody even at a nursery might know. Pennsylvania country girl, vulgar language is way out of control too. Not how it was growing up. Oh yeah, I mean you just look at uh, TV shows or listen to music or whatever. And like I talked about a little at lunch today, how morality has just completely disappeared. Okay. There is no moral core anymore. Uh, Suntan Beach, can I plant a seed potato with about a foot long eye, or do I need to cut it off first? Don't cut it off, but cut it down to maybe about an inch or two. And I mean, it'll keep, I mean, and I know exactly when you say grew like this over the winter, I know exactly why you followed that tip to put it in a paper bag or a cardboard box and put it in an area with no light. That's exactly why you have this foot long eye on it that I guarantee you is solid white because that eye is looking for light, doing whatever it can. It's using up all the resources in the potato trying to find light. Uh, as I've said before, the way I do it, which works a lot better, you put it in the laundry room or in the garage where sometime there's going to be a little bit of light so I can get it. And my potatoes, my seed potatoes that I have, they all sprouted and they've all got nice green pits on them that are an inch long. I mean, and that's so don't this put it in a paper bag and put it in a pitch black area. That's why you get that problem. But yes, you can still plant it, just trim it off down to about an inch. Uh, Caveman Luck, Pinball, correct me if I'm wrong, but the true meaning of the First Amendment was for the right to voice your disagreement about government. No. Uh, that's part of it, okay? But no, freedom of speech was not just to voice your disagreement with the government, it was to voice your opinion on anything. Freedom of religion, well, that's part of the First Amendment. There, go read the whole thing. It's not just about the government. The Second Amendment, the reason we have that is to protect ourselves against the tyrannical government. Yes, but the First Amendment was a lot more than, well, it did allow us to disagree with our government. That wasn't the only point of it. Yeah. Robbie Davis, my beer tree has never come up yet. Okay. All right, people. All right, I'm going to try this. People are saying I'm getting garbled. I will hold the mic. All right. Can you hear me now? Try that. See if you can hear me now. Come on. Somebody tell me. Can you hear me? La 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 la. 5 by 5. Okay. All right. Now people are saying you can hear me. All right, guys. That's me putting the microphone back in. So that's what we got. So I can't change the settings left and right. Pull out the microphone, take it. I'm sorry if you guys are having audio issues. Again, I'm so over audio issues. It's unbelievable, but I'm not gonna. What we got is what we got. That's it. All right. So let's see what we got in the way of questions, because now, of course, we shot over. James McKay, is it okay to use neem oil every 2 weeks on my veggies? Yeah, you should. Okay. Uh, that's about the appropriate time. You're not going to do any damage to them. It's just a matter of how much neem oil do you want to spend money on. Mountain Man, if you pull the leaves up and tie them around the head of cauliflower, it'll keep them from turning brown in the sun. Yes, that is very true. You're actually supposed to do that when your cauliflower starts to head, because cauliflower is white. You don't want it to get sun scorched. So, yes, you're absolutely correct on that. Florida Homesteading. We just finished culling 8 broiler chickens. Next 2 rabbits will be culled next weekend. There you go. I mean, you raise them, you hatch them, you eat them. Keep the hens for eggs, and the ones that you hatch that turn out to be roosters, unless they're going to be your next breeding stock, they wind up your next dinner. So good. Get a bunch of guys again talking about the audio in there. So like I said, I listen to the replay, and I can't answer it. I'm done talking about it. So Michael Bettis, hello from La Crosse, Wisconsin. The city provides good compost free to residents. Free, good stuff. Yeah, I mean like when I was up in Fort Wayne, they used to give away free compost too. I mean, you had to pay for delivery. It was like, I mean, granted, this is going back 20 years now, but I mean, back then they $30 and they deliver a dump truck full of compost on your driveway, and you were fine. So yeah, check out the local areas and see if the city has it, because a lot of times that's what they will do too. I told you here, the next county over, when they grind up all the trees that they do from tree trimming around electric lines and stuff like that, they just pile it all up. I mean, the piles are 30 feet high. It's out by the high school. And it's free mulch for anybody to go get. And I mean, I was getting truckload after truckload after truckload after truckload to put around my flower beds. Excuse me. Kilo 2 Bravo, gold over 32.70 tonight. Almost exactly 100-to-1 silver to gold ratio. Thoughts on either one breaking out? At that ratio, I'm certainly going after silver more than I'm going after gold. I mean, you should be down around 80. So that tells me one of two things: either gold is overvalued, which it probably is somewhat, or silver is undervalued, which it most certainly is. So, but I mean, you had one of the wirehouses today came out and said 3,500 silver this year is possible. Okay, that's 8% higher from here. Okay, it's still significantly more than it was when we were all buying it 2 and 3 years ago, or 10 years ago, or anything like that. But even when I started talking about it significantly, we were under $2,000. So, but Fort Defiance, hey, EU is the new hate speech. Do you see that coming to America? Well, the Democrats sure want it that way. They are definitely doing anything they can to spread as many lies as they can. And when somebody debunks one of their lies, they are saying, "Oh, that the truth the truth is a lie, but the lie is the truth." And I mean, what I said today. You want to talk about following the footsteps of the Nazis? That's the Democrat Party right now. You go look at their platform, a Nazi platform, and you pair it up against the Democrat platform. It's exactly the same. Tell them a lie often enough until they believe it. That's their marching orders for everybody. Okay, the word for today is chaos, and all of a sudden you hear every politician, every news anchor on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, chaos, chaos. Because whoever George Soros or whoever's giving the marching orders sends an email out to everybody, says you need to talk about chaos today, and so they all do. You know, but that's it. It's If the Democrats weren't lying, it'd be the greatest silence we've ever heard. I mean, again, like I said, Biden's speech today about Trump is trying to get rid of Social Security. There's no truth to that whatsoever. They've been talking about killing Medicare and Medicaid. There's no truth to that whatsoever. I mean, it's all they can do is lie because they're not afraid of Trump failing. They're afraid of Trump succeeding. That's the thing. They know they are on death's doorstep as a party. Uh, Jacqueline says, I missed many interesting questions and I apologize. Sometimes that happens because YouTube will shoot me all the way to the bottom of the chat room and it only allow me to go back up so far. So, I get way behind. I'm 10, there's what 900 of you in here. You guys can ask questions a lot faster than I can answer them. So if I haven't answered your question in about 15 minutes, feel free to repost it. If I see it a second time, I've already answered it, I'll skip it. But you guys can stop making comments about the audio. I'm not doing anything about it at all. So don't even bother. Country Humans Network, autism rate in kids is now 1 in 31. I guess we had 2 autistic kids. Wonder what's the cause. Yeah, it was like what 1 in 1,000 or something like that back in the 70s, and now it's 1 in 21. I wonder why. Skip that. Skipping all of that. Okay, back up to do. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up. Joe Cook made a comment here. This tells you I don't know what's going on with the audio. Your voice is perfect on my phone, but garbled on my TV. Nothing I can do at that point, guys. I do not know. And I mean, literally, all I did was replug in the exact same microphone I had. I don't know how it sounds so much better. Nothing's different. Okay, 3,500 silver. No, 3,500 gold. Did I say 3,500 silver? Trust me, I'd be extremely wealthy if it was $3,500 silver. God. Hats. What type of silver to buy? I'll go to a coin shop with cash, big value or small denomination. Okay, this is going to be a matter of personal preference, but I prefer to buy 1 ounce silver rounds. And I'll go with you again. Because remember what silver is going to be. Silver is going to be like the $20 bill that you got in your pocket. Somebody's still going to have to make change. This is where you get into your constitutional silver, okay? Your pre-1965 dimes, quarters, half dollars, silver dollars, that sort of stuff. That's going to be the change that you use. in an SHTF situation. If the world never goes FUBAR, which God knows we all hope it is, even then, I'm still a buyer of the just silver rounds, not maple leafs, not walking liberties, nothing like that. I'm not a coin collector. I don't care about the numismatic value, the coin collector's value. I care about the silver content. That's what I'm looking for. I will warn you on coin shops that you're going to pay one hell of a premium. I've mentioned many times to go to JM Bullion, SD Bullion, AppMax. I mean, buying them online, buying them from the wholesalers, if you will. The same place that the coin shop buys it from. But the coin shop's got to make money. The wholesaler's going to make money. So the wholesaler's putting a 15% premium on silver. So you got to pay that. But then the coin shop's also got to pay that. And then they're going to put another 15% premium on it. So you're going, okay, the spot value of silver is $32 and the coin shop's asking $42 for it. And you're going, okay, I need the price of silver to go up $10 an ounce before I'm at break even. No, the hell with the coin shops. Go buy it from the wholesalers. I know people don't like buying stuff online like that. I've never had a problem with any of them. So, but at least the ones that I use. But my opinion on what type of silver to buy: silver rounds, 1 ounce, not 100-ounce bars or something like that. That's going to be too burdensome to do anything with as a prepper. Mountain Man, we have a peat place that mixes topsoil with it. Good stuff mixed with chicken manure. Yeah. And again, you're talking about organic material, chicken manure, excellent source of nitrogen. If you've got good topsoil out there, that's going to be excellent too. But I'm glad he's mixing the manure into the topsoil, because the topsoil is going to quickly get depleted of its minerals and nutrients as well. Kevin Little, shout out to who mentioned a few live streams ago about Ollie's having cheap canning jars. Ours has pints for $8 a case. Oh, there you go. Good deal. That's why it's important for you guys to share information when you see it, either in the chat room or here on the live stream or something like that. If you find a great deal or whatever, post it. I mean, what's it take you? 30 seconds to write something that may help somebody else out. Let's see. Hey, Sue. So say I go online to a trusted place. Do I just order the least expensive silver they have? Pretty much. Yeah. Most of the time, what you're going to find out is they're buffaloes. I mean, I've got boatloads of buffaloes because it's the least expensive 1 ounce silver round. And again, I don't care, if they want, I'll just make up numbers, $34.29 for buffaloes, but they want $34.79 for something with an airplane on it, or $35.09 for something with, I don't know, a checkerboard on it. What's the difference? It's still going to be 1 ounce of silver. I don't care what the design is. It's not like I'm sitting there and go, oh, how pretty these are. Nope. They come in the mail. They go in the safe. They're just in tubes. I don't even look at them. They're fine. They're just there. So I'm not, come on over. Let me show you all my silver. No, that's not a coin collector. Healthy disrespect to authority. Where would you sell old coin sets? Mid-40s. I honestly, I don't even know. Like I just said, I'm not a coin collector, so I wouldn't even know where to start. Did somebody say a coin shop or a pawn shop or something like that? It depends on what's in the collection. Honestly, I wouldn't know where to start. I would definitely say get multiple bids on what you got. But I mean, I just know from buying and selling gold and silver over the years that some places will charge you a 10% premium to buy it, and some places will charge you a 3% premium to buy it. Okay, if let's say this coin set that's worth $1,000, Yeah, all right. $70 is a big difference in that, when you're looking at it. So, uh, okay. James Galbraith says call point pawn shops. I bought at spot old rounds and junk silver quarters for 90%. Yeah. Yeah. If you're looking at buying, I mean, it's always worth it if you're going to check in the pawn shops also. They may sell it to you for a better price than you get it somewhere else. What they have in the way of volume, who knows? I mean, if you're going to go and try to buy 5 ounces, you might find it in a pawn shop. You want to buy 20, 50 ounces of silver or something like that, chances are they don't have that laying around. Mr. Mac, my local pawn shop charges $5 premium per silver ounce. That's a lot. Well, no, actually, right now, considering the price is now, it's about 14%. That's, but yeah, I mean, again, everybody's going to charge different. You got to find the best price. Breed, a bank will sell you silver as well. If you ask your bank and ask what they're going to charge for it if they do it. Costco sells gold, yes. See that. Okay. Storm Chasing Cal says, great chat. Love to Mississippi and the Duggies. Linda saying good night, Mississippi. Moderators, everybody stay safe. So I guess we're at the end. All right. Well, we will, if that's all for the cues, we'll cut it short, 3 minutes. All right, guys. Have a good evening. See you in the morning. All out.